What's going on, everybody? This is Scotty Long with Fast Performance, Rocky Mountain Professional Wrestling, and athletic trainer for the Colorado Mammoth. And you're listening to the Eeez N Beez podcast. Get you some.
Good morning, all you wrestling and sports fans. Welcome back. Happy holidays. This is the Eeez N Beez, the Bacon and Eggs of Pro Wrestling Sport podcast. And I'm your host, Eeez N Beez. Welcome back. Hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. I missed you guys. Feels like it's been like 2 months since I got back here on the podcast scene. But we have so much to talk about. That's right. He is back. Yes! He's back on TNT. Showing up Wednesday night. Let me know what you guys think out there on the Eeez N Beez podcast. Like, share, subscribe, share it to a friend, pass the gravy, spread the butter. You know what to do. Follow us at eezeandbeez.org. I can't believe it. That's right. We've hit December. 3 more Fridays left. With me, Eddie B. That's right. 2020 is about to come to an end. I'm sure some of you out there are very excited for it to end. Some of you, maybe not. Me, on the other hand, I'm stationary. I'm glad 2020 happened. There's a few things that was very good for me, and there's a few that obviously were very bad. So that's all right. Let's not start off on a negative. Let's start off on a positive. Welcome back to the Eeez N Beez podcast. Yes, we missed you last week. Like I said, I hope you had a very, very good Thanksgiving. We did here. We didn't go far. We kept it close. Follow the policies and all the guidelines. Make sure that we did the right thing. Hope you all did too, the same thing out there. Let me know what you guys think here. We got a big buffet today, but it's not going to be one of the heaviest buffets. It's going to be one of the lightest buffets. That's right. It's breakfast fitness this week. I've got special guest Scotty Long coming in. That's right. He's going to talk everything healthy about the holidays. I know with all the good things coming up, all the great presents and foods, we got Scotty Long coming to tell us what's the right steps to do and going forward into the new year as well. But, you know, here on the Eeez N Beez, we're going to dive into the sports. We're going to dive into the wrestling. And we're going to talk a little bit of meat with Scotty Long, some scrambled eggs we got going, and we'll have Lauren on the toast. But let's dive right into everybody's favorite, the sunny side up. All right, guys. Like I said, I missed you last week. We got a lot of stuff we're not going to touch on since we're here 2 weeks back. We're just going to touch on what happened last week here in the NFL real quick. I got a little bit of college football to talk about. I want to get some thoughts from you guys. Hey, if you didn't know, on Thanksgiving week, we did do an unboxing video on Julia's birthday. That's right. My girl turned 11. We did an unboxing, so check it out. We're still waiting on a couple winners out there. Also, don't forget, the merch store is still available. All kinds of specials going on. 35% off of all the shirts. $13. You can't beat it, guys. They're great shirts. I got several of my own. But hey, let's jump right in here. NFL, 4 games to dive into this week. First, right off the bat, it was the Saints over the Broncos, 31-3. But that's not the story I want to talk about. The story was what happened going into this. That's right. The Broncos were down 3 quarterbacks, all because of COVID. And yeah, there was a lot of talk. That they got done dirty. But let's be honest, when you lie and you don't play by the rules and follow the rules, you get bit by the horns, and that's what happened to the Broncos. They got bit by the horns. They had to scramble, get a guy that they've never, played quarterback in the NFL in his life. He's actually a receiver on the practice squad, comes in with less than 24 hours notice, doesn't know any plays. Hey, they didn't get blown out or shutout, I should say. They got blown out, but mad props to Kendall Hilton, I think he did an excellent job out there for them, and I think going forward, he's going to get a payday someday in the future. So mad props out there, Kendall. Anyways, after that, game number 2, Chiefs over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's right, pouty face Tom Brady once again lost by 3 points. They had it. He just fell short. A couple short completions. I don't think that things were going his way all day long, and that's not the story of the game. The story of the game was the first 2 quarters. My man, Tyreek Hill, with 209 yards, setting NFL records, had 3 touchdowns. The dude looked unstoppable. Called in for backup, promised him backup was on the way. Wow, folks, what a game for him. But the Chiefs hold on 27-24. That's right. They moved right on into second place, right behind the Steelers, which we'll talk about here in just a second. After that was game 3, Patriots over the Cardinals. That's right. Nick Folk with the last-second field goal, holding on to squeak one out when Murray gave up an interception late to put him in the opportunity for the win. Yeah, I'm not very happy about that. I was really pulling for the Cardinals. You know me, a Dolphins fan. I need those Patriots to keep losing, no matter if they're even not in the playoff chase. Now, the last game of the week I want to talk about was the game that took all week to play. That's right. It didn't happen until Wednesday. Up here in Colorado, there's disputes with Dish and stuff, so if you have that, you didn't even get to see the game. I had to watch the game on my phone, but the Steelers holding on barely by 5 over the Ravens. A very close game. Another situation where the quarterback was a backup situation. RG3 playing for the first time this year. Looked great in spots. And then he looked like he pulled a hamstring. After that, it was all downhill. Nothing much after that. They kept it close, but not enough. The Steelers staying undefeated. That's right, 72 Dolphins. Hold your breath. One more week. I hope they lose. Anyways, other winners: Dolphins, Texans, Washington football team, Falcons, Vikings, Browns, Titans, Giants, Bills, 49ers, Packers, and Seahawks. Another great week. Some more games getting pushed back. We'll talk about that next week going in. Another great guest coming up next week also. But hey, jumping right on in the sunny side up, keep moving here. We're going to dive into the top 10 of the NCAA football rankings this week. Well, my bitch is still coming with IU only moving up to number 10 when they were number 12 going into this week. Only getting 2 spots. Like I said, their only loss is Ohio State. Come on, committee, give them some love. They beat Wisconsin tomorrow. I think they need to be closer than what they are right now. That's just me being a homer IU fan. After that, number 9, Miami Hurricanes. Number 8, BYU. Number 7, Cincinnati. Now it's time for the playoff teams. Number 6, Florida. 5, Texas A&M. 4, Clemson. 3, Ohio State. 2, Notre Dame. And once again, Alabama holding it down at number 1. A couple games already canceled. Once again, Ohio State not playing again this week, so it's going to be questionable going if they can get 6 games in and be eligible for the Big Ten Conference Finals. That's going to be crazy. Let me know what you guys think, all you Big Ten fans out there. I think if they don't get 6 games, they're not eligible. IU has to be in that spot as long as they put them away tomorrow and move forward into Purdue in a week from now. We'll see what happens. That's going to wrap up the football talk this week, guys. We're going to jump right into the wrestling. We got so much wrestling to talk about. So much crazy things have happened within 2 weeks. We're just going to dive in what just happened recently here last week on SmackDown. That's last 11/27, just last Friday. Started out with Jey Uso and Roman, meeting. Roman pretty much telling him he wasn't happy with how things turned out with him, and he's just holding him accountable. So after it was all said and done, Uso taking his anger out on our boy Otis. Yeah, that's right, man. Otis gets a couple chair shots. Man, take it easy. All us Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling guys, we love Otis, and we don't like to see him get attacked like that. So we'll keep a closer eye on that and keep you updated as it goes forward. After that, just some more winners off of SmackDown that night. We had Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode getting the win over Street Profits. Sami Zayn getting a count-out win once again over Daniel Bryan. And it seems like every week he's getting one of those kind of wins. Bianca Belair getting a win over Natalya. Our boy Murphy with the Mysterio family sticking their nose in there where it doesn't belong. He gets the win over King Corbin. And the main event of the night was Kevin Owens getting the win over Jey Uso. But Jey Uso attacked Daniel Bryan earlier in the night with a chair, taking some more anger out. But at the end of the night, he loses to Kevin Owens. And Owens just takes it to him with the chair. getting in the camera saying he's not scared of Roman Reigns in the head of the table. He said at the commentators table. A lot of good stuff. Let me know what you think out there. Like, share, subscribe. EeezNBeez.com. Follow us on all of the places where you find all your podcasts at, or wherever you watch YouTube or Twitter. Follow us. So after that, guys, we got Raw coming up. That's Raw. Happened this Monday. Another great show. We're just going to ramble off a few winners here to go down the list. Looks like Jeff Hardy got the win over Elias in a symphony match. That's a symphony destruction match where all of the instruments were out there. Of course, we had R-Truth popping out of the piano. They could not hold back with the comedy. I'll tell you who my favorite is in the scrambled egg segment later on about these 5 brands this week. Definitely was not Raw, but it was an okay show, minus some of the hideous comedy they had going on. After that, Slapjack gets the win over Ricochet, getting a little bit of distraction going on the outside on Ricochet. That's why he loses to Slapjack, but once again, I'm not a fan of the Retribution. You guys know that out there. Let me know what you guys think of them. Seems like we're getting a lot more of them going through the ringer each week, and they're getting the wins here and there, but still not impressing me on this end. After that, Asuka and Lana gets another win 2 weeks in a row over Natty and Shayna Baszler. Pretty impressive there. I know that we're going to have them two going for the tag title really, really soon. It'd be pretty cool to see Lana, after all the pain and suffering that she's had to go through the tables, to maybe win a title. That'd be pretty cool. After that, Cedric Alexander getting a singles win over Xavier Woods. Pretty good match there. Hurt Business, obviously, ringside, sticking their nose in when they don't need to, but they did. And then for the main event, we had not for the main event. After that, we had AJ Styles, in a triple threat match where he got the win over Keith Lee and Matt Riddle to be the number 1 contender at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs coming up here at the end of the month. He's going to face Drew. That's pretty cool. We'll see how that goes. I'd like to see AJ Styles on top again. I like him. I always have. After that match, we had Dana Brooke getting her win after she stuck her face in a little bit earlier in the night while Ricochet was fighting. That's kind of why Ricochet lost, but she was up against Reckoning, a.k.a. Mia Yim. Mia Yim's face mask came off. Pretty embarrassing. After that, Ali got in the ring, fired her from what they're saying. We'll just hear a little bit more about that coming up this Monday, but like I said, that storyline is not very good in my opinion, but that's only my opinion. After that, it was the main event of the night. It was Drew McIntyre and his old buddy Sheamus tagging up once again, taking on Miz and Morrison. It was a DQ because AJ Styles coming in to attack and putting his foot down, saying he's not scared of Drew. So that's kind of how Raw ended up this week, guys. Pretty good show. Like I said, there was some bad comedy mixed in there, but all in all, good wrestling. We'll move it right on to Tuesday Night Impact. There's a lot to go with this, but we can't talk about it just yet, so we'll just run down the winners and losers in Impact, and I'll have a lot more to say about that here a little bit later on. Motor City Machine Guns getting the win over Triple XL. The Knockouts Tag Team Tournament was continued on that night. Jordan Grace and return of Jazz, folks. Yes, let me know what you think. Is it past time for Jazz, or is it cool to see Jazz back in the ring? For me personally, I think it's pretty cool because I always was a Jazz fan. But anyways, they get the win. They get to move on in the women's tag team knockout tournament that got going on there in Impact. After that, we had Johnny Swinger going up against Cody Deaner, but it ended up being a no contest. Why? Because Eric Young and his boy Joe making another presence known 2 weeks in a row. Boy, they're looking tough and they're meaning business. After that, we had the Raju getting his ex-champ put on the line against Crazy Steve. Crazy Steve just not eligible to pull the win out, so the champ stays. After that, the main event of the night, the match of the night, in my opinion, out of all these. I love both these guys. Willie Mack getting the win over Chris Bay. But I must note, earlier in the night, Ken Shamrock was trying to make an entrance and was not allowed in. He was suspended for 30 days, but he did threaten when he comes back, he's putting his hands on somebody. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But what I wanted to talk about after the main event, Moose attacked Mac. Rich Swann come to help, though, and but while he was distracted, Chris Bay putting his hands on Swann. The show ends with Chris Bay standing over Swann. We'll have to see what goes forward. Like I said, I got a lot more to talk about Impact here in just a little bit. After that, we move straight into Wednesday night NXT. the go-home show for War Games this weekend. We'll talk about that scrambled eggs coming up just in a little bit here. But starting the night out with a tag team match, Leon Ruff, Damian Priest getting the win over Escobar and Mendoza. You know, kind of a different style of a match, not who you expected, but these two here are getting ready to fight this Sunday. Pretty interesting that they're still tagging, but yet they, put their differences aside to get the win. After that, we had a prep match. Cameron Grimes getting the win over Austin Gray, but the strap was brought to the ring by Dexter Lumis. Just a little bit of teaser what we're going to see Sunday between them two. We'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later on, like I said. After that, Jake Atlas getting a solid win as it was dedicated to Pat Patterson. R.I.P. to Pat Patterson, that's right. Unfortunately, we lost another great one this week. Seems like we've been losing one about every other week, unfortunately. But we'll keep our heads high and remember all the good things about Pat Patterson. And like I said, Jake Atlas dedicating that match to him. After that, Emporium and the Young Grizzly Vets got into a no contest. Not really my favorite. Ever-Eyes kind of putting the nose in where it doesn't belong. I'm still stuck on the Undisputed Era. Obviously, we've seen Pat McAfee show up tonight and talk a little, or that night as well. But to end the night out, we had a advantage match for this Sunday with the women's, and it was Shotzi Blackheart getting the win over Raquel Gonzalez, and that means Shotzi's team will have the advantage going into War Games. So, pretty important match for her. Pretty big advantage. That means she'll get to choose who goes in and all that great things. So, let me know what you guys think. NXT was a decent show, but now we're going to get into the last show of the week, and it was my favorite of the week. I'm just going to give you the spoiler. It was Winter is Coming, AEW Dynamite. They turned it up, and like you heard at the very beginning, that's right, Sting showed up. And that's all I need to say. I don't even need to tell you who won, who lost. Sting showed up. That's all I got to say. No, just kidding. Let's jump right in, man. They had a great, great match. They started out with the Diamond Ring Battle Royal, which was very interesting. The Inner Circle kind of held their own, stayed out of everybody's way, waited for things to thin out, and then it turned against them as it ends up next week. MJF, Orange Cassidy will go one-on-one to see who gets the Diamond Ring. MJF trying to be 2 year in a row recipient. We'll have to see how that goes. But there's also some great storylines that came out of there. If you didn't see it, go back and watch it. Very, very interesting. After that, Chris Jericho, Frankie Kazarian getting a great match in. I'm just going to say this was one of Chris Jericho's better matches in the last few weeks. He put it all on the line, was doing his flips, doing his regular moves. With a little bit of help, he gets the Judas effect on Frankie and gets the win. Like I said, a solid match, but after that, a little scuffle between the Inner Circle, and now we'll find out this week coming up. Either they straighten things out between each other, or there's no more Inner Circle. Whew. Man, my daughter's going to be sad if that happens. Let me know what you guys think out there. Like, share, subscribe. eeezenbeez.org. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts at, or follow us on YouTube. After that, Britt Baker showing up. She gets the win over legit Leela Hirsch, but after the match is over, her new arch nemesis, Thunder Rosa, coming in for the attack. Rebel, Reba, whatever you want to call her, she's trying to help out. Things weren't working out for Britt. Finally, they get separated. Everybody had to come out. The Jerry chants come from the crowd. I might add, this crowd was very, very full. Over 1,000 people, they say. It sounded like close to a good live event. After that, the co-main event. This is where our boy came out. That's right. It was Darby Allin and Cody Rhodes getting the win over FTW, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Ricky Starks. But after the match, Powerhouse and Starks started pounding back on them. Here comes Brian Cage, FTW, looking to have the advantage. Dustin Rhodes came out trying to help. It didn't work, and then all of a sudden, poof, lights went out, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and I'm sure if you haven't heard, you know now. That's right. He showed up, and that place went crazy. It was like a real live event. I have chills talking about it. It made me feel like a kid again. I know that the chances of him wrestling aren't going to be very huge, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in the scrambled eggs segment. But that's right. After things settled down, Sting put his foot down. Everybody scrambled. And we went into the main event of the evening, the heavyweight title on the line. Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley. And I'm going to be honest with you. Before the match started, I had a weird feeling that the title was going to change hands. Well, I was right. Kenny Omega coming out the successor, but that's not the story. The story is Don Callis at the commentator booth once again for his nephew, so to speak, Kenny Omega. And as Omega was looking to be in trouble, it looked as if Don Callis rolls in with the microphone, somehow gets it to the ring. Omega uses it on Moxley. Next thing you know, we get the 1 week an angel, 1, 2, 3, and a new champion. And before we could even blink our eye, Omega and Callis are loading up in a Suburban and telling us they'll tell us on Tuesday all about it. Well, that's what I want to roll into, what I was speaking about earlier about Impact. Tuesday night is Impact, so I think we're having something here maybe emerge. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm excited about it. I know everybody on Twitter is talking about it. It's very, very impressive. Anybody's seen this coming. The swerve out of left field. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. It could be more than not as much as what we think. Could just be a little 1 off, 2 off. That could be it. We do know one thing. Sting is in for 2 years. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be wrestling. I think there's going to be a bigger role to be played as like a mentor, maybe coach role. That's what I'm hoping for. Let me know what you guys think out there, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Follow us at eezeandbeez.org. Hey, big special guest coming back this week on the meet. That's right. I had to bring him back. It's that time of the year. My man Scotty Long here with us this week. He's going to talk all the holiday fitness, everything you need to know. He's got some great news and notes to talk about, as well as where you can find him at if you're ready to get in shape. So stay tuned. My boy, Scotty Long, coming up next. All right, fans. Well, as promised, another returning guest this week, but this one is very important to all you listeners out there. He's going to give us all the ideas and all the fitness smart things we need to know leading forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome back one of my great friends here in Colorado. He's the lead trainer of the Colorado Mammoth. He's the lead trainer of Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. It's Scotty Long.
What's happening, Ed? How are you, man?
Great, man. How are you, bro? Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. I'm excited to be back on the show. It looks like you've since we last talked, you've compiled a bunch of episodes and you're heading in the right trajectory and the show's doing pretty well. How's it been so far for you?
Man, nose to the grind. I'm having a blast.
Good.
Like I mentioned, living out my dream. It doesn't get any better. I mean, obviously we could have a lot more support and all that good things, but hey, yeah. We'll just keep grinding. That's all we're doing here. Yeah. How about yourself? How's things on your side since we've talked last?
Yeah, man. Obviously with all the pandemic and the COVID stuff going on, it's obviously a difficult challenge to try and wrap our head around. There's been outbreaks, there's been restrictions, especially here in Denver and Denver County where Fast Performance is and kind of where I live and stuff. So, we're trying to do our best to make sense of it all and make sure that everybody's safe and, abiding by what restrictions we have to abide by. But for the most part, man, we're still chugging along. Everybody's on the grindstone from here at Fast Performance with our gym memberships and the kids that are working with the baseball trainers and strength and conditioning and with me. And then obviously, we're doing what we have to with Rocky Mountain Pro. And it's been pretty cool because actually, fortunately, but unfortunately, RMP had to kind of kind of pivot from going to live shows to doing some tapings here in Fast Performance. So a couple weeks ago, we actually transformed the gym into like a small little arena, and we had the lights set up, the ring set
It was
up.
like the old days. It was like the old NWA days, like TBS style, bro.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was really put together, and we've got another streaming show on Twitch this Saturday. So we'll be doing that again in Fast. So, everybody's making do with the hand of cards that they're dealt, and doing the best that we can, buddy.
Sure, definitely. I definitely understand. There's only so much you can do, but I've been definitely checking everything out there on Twitch, following you guys heavily, watching all the shows. I feel like I'm the poison, bro. Every time now that I've ordered tickets to come to a live event, something's happened. And like I told the champ, I said, man, I just don't think I'm going to order tickets no more. I'm just going to have to wait it out and maybe either score some free ones or just maybe wait till the last second to get in there, make sure the event's going to go on, because it's been bad luck for me too, man, going for that. But I've enjoyed watching what they've set up there at Fast Performance. I mean, it's a great location. I enjoyed watching, the training days, some days on Twitch as well. It's just cool to watch that stuff. And
yeah, I appreciate it. It's kind of different for me to kind of have like a camera in front of not in front of my face, obviously the whole time, but I just got to make sure that I'm hitting all my cues and keeping my eyes on the guys and stuff like that. And so, it's been really fun to check that stuff out and be involved with you, obviously, and with Rocky Mountain Pro. They've had me on a couple of their Twitch shows and stuff. So it's definitely interesting and definitely fun.
Yeah, definitely. They've been mixing it up here a lot lately, bringing in some new stuff and showing us some old stuff as well. It's been cool. But hey, what I've got you on today for, I want my listeners out there to know the best way to do this. And what it is we all know it's holiday season. And with holiday season, Scotty, that brings plenty of gifts, but also plenty of food. And we all know from Fast Performance, that's your main gig. So can you give my listeners out there a run around, or maybe not a run around, let's say a right way to do things for this holiday season?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And the first thing that we'll kind of talk about is some low hanging fruit, and then we'll kind of dive into what really needs to happen for folks to be successful. And the first thing is we've got to have some sort of physical activity, and that can be, and that's definitely tougher with all the restrictions during COVID and at gyms and stuff like that. But there's plenty of resources online, on YouTube, or you don't really need to have a ton of equipment to get a good workout in at your home or in your basement. It's still free to go outside and go for a run or go for a bike ride. Obviously it's a little bit chilly, so dress warm for that. But the main thing is we still want to promote good physical activity. I know it's super easy to kind of get caught up on your Netflix shows, and I know the new PlayStation and Xbox came out. So if you're fortunate enough to get one of those, you're probably gaming out on that. But making sure that you take a break and take time for yourself. And then you mentioned there's tons of good food, and my wife makes a delicious pecan pie, and we were definitely grubbing on that. Like I'm not going to say here and say that I'm a saint of nutrition, but you've really got to be mindful of what you eat and the amount that you eat. I know Thanksgiving was just around the corner, so hopefully those leftovers are pretty much gone through. But if you start to feel hungry, if you start to feel like you need a little bit of a snack, this is a really great opportunity to pick up some vegetables, some fruit, something with good fiber in it, and nothing, staying away from the processed stuff, and staying away from the sugars and all the treats that grandma and your wife or your husband is making and stuff like that. So, once you start to get those little hunger pains, man, you've got to make wise choices. And on top of that too, I know there's tons of delicious drinks out there, adult beverages out there around this time. And I think hydration is really key, especially as it gets colder. Like, you don't feel like you need to drink as much water. And so, you still want to hit your recommended daily requirements, which is about 64 to 80 ounces of water on the low end. But a good way to make sure that you're hydrated is checking out the color of your pee, and it's simple. So if you're kind of leaning towards the clear side, the light lemonade, you're good to go. You've got plenty of hydration. And if you start to get to that kind of more darker lemonade or that almost apple juice, like you've got to drink water.
You got
now.
issues.
Yeah. You're not having a good time. Yeah. And, it just comes down to making sure that you've got the correct intake. You're kind of eating the rainbow. And what I mean by that is making sure that you've got foods that fruits and vegetables that are kind of different colors, like your purples that you would see kind of in some of your cabbages, eggplants, obviously your greens, reds, dark greens such as your kale or your spinach and stuff like that. And really making sure that the majority of your intake is good, healthy, non-processed stuff. And I don't want any listeners to say like, oh, well, my wife makes, or my significant other makes different colored candies. That's not what I'm talking about here, man. So,
all right, we'll write that one off too, I guess.
Yeah, I know it's a tough one to deal with. But another thing that a lot of people don't kind of realize, I think there's a big push or a big spotlight on eating and drinking. But the other thing that we really want to be mindful of is our sleep quality and our sleep quantity. Obviously people are taking off time. You might be coming back from college or from school, or, you've got a couple days off from work where, you can just kind of hang out and you don't have too much responsibilities, but making sure you still get at least 8 hours of sleep every night, maintaining a good sleep schedule, just like you would if you were working and stuff like that. And then obviously like good quality sleep. 8 hours of sleep doesn't mean anything if you're waking up every other hour to check your phone, or, if you got the TV on or something else is bugging you. So, I would definitely consider taking a look at and being honest with yourself is like, am I watching too many Christmas movies late into the night? I know everybody can binge on that stuff.
Yeah, tell me this though, Scotty. Like, what if, say, so to speak, you're getting up multiple times in the night to use the restroom? What do you could say about that? Maybe down for.
Yeah. So, one thing that you can definitely kind of do to help mitigate that is to decrease the amount of fluids that you take in before going to bed. And the other thing is what type of fluids are you taking in? Are you having a couple nightcaps before you go to bed? Are you having a couple beers or adult beverages or a cup of coffee before you go to bed, which I highly do not recommend drinking caffeine before
no Red Bulls, no coffees.
Yeah, but as we know, alcohol and caffeine, those are two diuretics, and so what that means is they flush our system and try and flush all the fluids out. And so, if you're having a couple before bed, really limit that, or make sure that your last one is a couple hours before you go to bed.
Sure. Yeah. Good advice there, Scotty.
Yeah, thanks. And so, the last thing that I really want to kind of hit home on is creating good habits for physical activity. I've got a couple lines of research that I did, couple articles that I sent you, and you could definitely post in the show notes for our listeners to check out. But last year, Bloomberg came out and said that about a third of all New Year's resolutions are fitness based, either that includes being more physically active, or you want to lose weight, or you want you want to eat better, whatever. A third of those are fitness based. And what the studies show is like, yeah, everybody knows that they want to need to be more physically fit and take care of the bodies, but the habits aren't there to help reinforce what your goals are. And some of the numbers that I saw out there, this was from the New York Post, I think in like 2016, that CrossFit reported that 37% of the members that got their membership for Christmas or during the New Year's, 37% of those members dropped their membership by February.
Wow. Not even 2 months.
Yeah. Oh, a month, really.
A month, like and that's it.
A month and some change.
It's not even a cup of coffee,
No, yeah. And then they also, Market Watch and the New York Post kind of had very similar data where for general gym memberships, like at your 24-hour fitness or wherever, your big chain gyms, a third dropped off their membership within a month. And in June, less than 50% of those people that signed up in January are still going to the gym. And by October, only 22% of those people are still going to the gym. So, you look at the first month of gyms losing the 33% of membership. Now, a lot of people are still paying for that membership, but they're not taking advantage of that. And I think that really kind of coincides with creating a good habit or not creating a good habit within that first month, or even leading up to New Year's. Like, it's December 1st, and I know personally, like, I need to probably eat a little bit better, or I need to do some things better. And so that New Year's resolution actually can start right now.
Right. An early start would always be better than a late start. That's for sure.
Yeah. And so there's an awesome book out there called The Power of Habit by I wrote his name down, but I can't remember it. Power of Habit, awesome book. I apologize for not remembering the author's name. I never remember the author's name, so this is kind of par for the course for me. But
no worries.
There's something called a habit loop where you create a cue, and what that cue could be is setting your alarm clock at an earlier time to wake up earlier to get
Charles Dunhing.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. There you go. Thank you.
Gotcha. Maybe pronounce his last name wrong, but hey,
yeah,
I didn't want to leave you hanging. I got your back, bro.
Thanks, man. Yeah. So creating a cue, setting your alarm clock, or laying out your gym clothes in front of your bedroom door to make where you have to put them on, and it can be like a super small cue, something like that, and then you can build upon that cue, and then the next part of that loop is a routine. And so, okay, if my cue is my cues are waking up to my alarm at 6 o'clock and putting on my gym clothes, then I go to the gym and I work out. What's my reward? And your reward can be really anything. That feel good feeling that you get after a good workout, or you have a delicious breakfast, a good nutritious breakfast that you're really excited about. That can be your reward. And if you just go through that habit circle, you're going to create a good habit. And there's, I think the old adage is 21 days to create a habit. And I think recent research has shown that it actually takes a little bit longer. It's more like 66 days. And so, and you can kind of see that in the numbers that were reported in Market Watch and the New York Post and Bloomberg, where, these folks are, potentially creating these habits for a month and they drop off in February. Well, maybe that's not enough time for them to really put that habit in concrete.
Gotcha. Yeah. Almost like that, it recycles obviously the next year around, but yeah, I get where you're going, It's like they're close, they're almost there to getting into that routine and that perfect cycle, and then they give up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm that type as well. I can't lie to you. I probably told you a few times I'm out of shape. I need to come see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just had a little bit of wrist work done, so it's going to be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But, I'm the same way. I'm a creature of habit where I have a lot of the same routines, but I'm honest with you, Scott, when it comes to continuing them every single day, day in, day out, there's days where I slip up and then, I find myself having to restart over almost all the way again. And it's kind of, disheartening in a way, kind of beat you down. And I think my listeners could probably vouch for me a little bit too. I'm sure people are in the same kind of boat, maybe not exact, but what's a good advice to kind of get, I'm looking for that goal. That's what I'm saying. What's my outcome? Even though I know there is a great routine, great system, there's eventually going to be a time where I'm just kind of bored with it, and I think what my listeners need to hear is what's the best way for us to start setting better goals, to help ourselves with not only just health, but, our life in general.
Yeah. And I think I think that that's a really good point, and I appreciate you kind of opening up about that. And I know it's kind of disheartening for sure when you miss that date, but such is life. Like, life's going to happen and things are going to throw you off the tracks and stuff like that. And I think it really comes down to creating like short-term and long-term goals and making sure that those goals are what they call SMART goals. And what SMART goals are there, the SMART goals is kind of a abbreviation for making sure that it's specific. So you want to, not just say, well, I want to lose weight. Well, how much weight do you want to lose? How much weight do you want is your end goal, your long-term goal? And then break that down to, okay, in 3 weeks, I want to lose 5 pounds. Okay, so that's specific. And then the other thing that we can do is have it measurable. And, that could be, out of 10 days, I want to make sure, or out of 7 days, I want to make sure that I exercise at least 4 days. And so you can go through your calendar and mark off the days that you went and worked out, or the days that you had physical activity, and then make that into a long-term goal over a month. How many days out of the month do I want to, do I need to go work out? And then, is this attainable? Is this something that is actually attainable for you in the short term and in the long term? Like, for me, I know I'm never going to be, a high caliber athlete. Like, those days are far behind me. And so you want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up for failure here in the short term and in the long term. And, is it relevant to you? Is this something that you actually aspire to do or really want to do? I would never for me, I appreciate the mixed martial arts, and I appreciate what those men and women do to sacrifice and put their bodies on the line to compete. But that's just not for me. So I wouldn't really train as a mixed martial artist because it's not relevant to me. And then what the T stands for is time bound. How much time am I going to give myself to lose this amount of weight, or drop this amount of body fat percentage, or be able to run X amount of miles. So, and just kind of breaking those down into short-term and long-term goals is something that anybody can do.
Definitely. It's a great idea. I suggest it for everybody out there listening, especially if you're trying to lose those extra pounds or stay in shape, during these tough times when it's, like we said, so much great food at the table, so much great breakfast items, as we might add here on the Eeez N Beez podcast. Well, that's good advice there, Scotty. As we're winding things down here on the meat segment, I only got a couple good questions for you, but I want to make sure that you got everything out of your bank that you need my listeners to know for all their great ideas going forward in this holiday season.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll I kind of want to touch on, obviously COVID-19 has been a
headache. It's been a headache. It's been a nightmare. It's been everything above.
Yeah. It's not been fun for anybody. Let's keep it at that. And before I kind of go into these considerations and recommendations, I want to just preface this that I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not an expert on COVID-19 in no way, shape, or form. So, this is something that I kind of pulled off, and there's an article from the HSS Journal, and it's considerations for return to exercise following mild to moderate COVID-19 in the recreational athlete. And again, I'm not a doctor, so please do not take my word as the gospel. But back in August, back in like May, June, July, personally, I couldn't think of anybody that had been infected by COVID-19. And, it's like, where are all these numbers coming from? Like, I personally don't know anybody. And, here we are in November, and I'll be the first one to tell you that, unfortunately, myself and my family, like we tested positive for COVID in late September, early October. And, I've had family members, and I've had friends, and, the spider web just kind of keeps branching out and out and out. So, obviously people are getting affected by this, and a lot of people want to get back to exercise for their personal satisfaction and for their physical goals. And there's just a couple considerations. And again, if you guys want to dive deeper into this article, I highly suggest you check it out. And it'll definitely be in the show notes. But they looked at the cardiac system, the pulmonary system, gastrointestinal, and kind of the blood system and musculoskeletal system. And there's just a couple things that are recommended. And for the cardiac system, you want to take about a 2-week rest period after resolution of symptoms. But patients with like myocarditis, which is inflammation of the tissue around the heart associated with COVID, they recommend that you rest from exercise for 3 to 6 months. Obviously, you want to follow up with your physician or your cardiologist. Your pulmonary system, it's kind of up in the air right now. But again, it's a gradual return. If you have any underlying history of pulmonary disease, you need to seek guidance from this. And, if you have any issues that it's hard for you to breathe, or you have pain while breathing, or, you just can't seem to catch your breath. Like you need to go seek physical help. And, each like general pattern of symptomology is different for everyone for COVID-19.
Right.
So this is definitely not like a blanket statement again. And, you should not resume exercise if you still have a fever or dyspnea, which means that your heart's kind of fluttering, or if you have a cough, chest pain, or palpitations. Anybody with underlying cardio or pulmonary conditions, again, consult your physician. For the mild to moderate healthy patient with kind of self-limited course of COVID-19 who's been asymptomatic for 7 days may begin resuming physical activity about at 50%. So you want to be doing about 50% of what you're doing before you got sick.
Right. Like a light walk-in kind of.
Yeah.
Not hopping all the way in. You just kind of ease yourself into it.
Yeah. And a lot of the data, obviously we're still learning about this bug as each day goes forward, but a lot of this was kind of pulled from what we saw in 2003 with SARS. It's all kind of, I guess these viruses.
Kind of weird how it is relevant. That's
for sure.
Strange.
Yeah. And then kind of the last thing that I'll talk about is, again, in the initial phases of return to exercise after recovery, it's recommended that a gradual guided activity modification, such as the 50-30-20-10 rule. So what that means is over the course of 4 weeks, the first week you want to do about 50% of kind of where you're at. And if you feel okay with 50%, then step that up to about 30%. If you feel okay with that and you're not having any other symptoms or any other issues, take that up to 20%. And then the following week, again, if you don't have any issues, take that up to 10%. But I highly, 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 highly recommend anybody that's interested in this for considerations to return to exercise to check this article out.
Definitely. And talking a little bit about that while we're on that subject.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, we're here in Colorado, and the craziness that just happened last weekend with them and the football team.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling to me that obviously we're learning more and more about it as it went forward. But, it's mind-boggling that these guys aren't trying to take more precautions with themselves, knowing that, this isn't a joke. They're more capable of maybe catching this than most because of the travel and everything else, but it boggles my mind on that situation. And what's your thoughts on what's really going on here? Not just maybe just the Broncos, but the NFL in general on how they're taking this.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm not super well versed on the exact like testing protocols and the repercussions if somebody tests positive, and if you have a couple of people test positive and stuff like that, like it seems kind of a little bit up in the air, and that's just me kind of being a fan and not really.
I agree.
Putting my athletic trainer hat on.
It's like that changes by the minute. Not
right.
To step over you, but like every other day, it seems like the rules are different. Or the
right. And
policies.
I kind of there might be like a preconceived notion where obviously NFL players are the top 1% or less than 1% of athletes in terms of physical condition, physical preparedness for high level athletic performance and stuff like that. And, kind of what we're seeing with COVID is, the better your immune system or the more physically active and capable of that you are, COVID, the symptoms might not be as bad. And so, I don't think there's a lot of folks that take it too seriously, or maybe don't take it too seriously, just based off of like, well, so-and-so had it and they said that they had a cold, it felt like a bad cold. And, obviously I want to be respectful for, all the people that have unfortunately passed away due to COVID or contracting COVID or, having a rough time and having to go on a ventilator and multiple days in the hospital. Like, I'm obviously want to be respectful of those individuals and those families, but it just kind of seems that a lot of folks aren't, if they're in better physical shape, they may or not be taking it too seriously because they're seeing.
And it seems like the turnaround is a little bit quicker, maybe.
The
rules are the rules. They should, they should definitely stick to that and make sure they keep them safe as far as everybody else that's going to be in contact with them. But
because you want to be respectful of the folks that work at the stadium. There might be an older gentleman or older lady working at the stadium that might be in close contact with these players and stuff like that. But, it's just kind of unfortunate where it seems that every game and every day's in jeopardy for the major sports leagues, just based off of, folks maybe not taking it too seriously and doing what is asked of them to make sure that they keep their job.
Definitely. And obviously, here on the Eeez N Beez, we talk a lot of wrestling, and that's another one that kind of baffles me a little bit. When this all started, Roman Reigns, as we all know, used to have leukemia and all that bad stuff, and they made a big deal about him even being around, and this is definitely nothing for him to be taking a chance on. Mm-hmm. Well, here we are, months down the road. I feel like we don't know very much more than we already knew back then, but he's returned to work, and he's put himself at risk around these people, but they're doing a very good job, I think, there, as well as keeping themselves quarantined when things happen, making sure they, are going through all the procedures and stuff. But it baffles me a little bit, knowing in the back of my mind, or if I was in his shoes, that there's still that slight chance that,
absolutely,
control it,
absolutely. And that's kind of the thing is, I would suspect and assume that the WWE has obviously learned about, what testing protocols are the best testing protocols. And, to be honest, like when this whole thing hit, I was talking with one of the staff members with the Mammoth, and he happens to be close with collegiate athletics. And kind of the rumor around March was, well, the NCAA is going to still have March Madness, make their money, and then they're going to cancel spring sports. And then once March Madness was canceled, like everybody's like, holy cow, man, like this thing's for real. Yeah. And, I would be honest with you. Like I was scared to kind of be out in public because nobody knew how bad this was. And, I think obviously the WWE and Roman Reigns would have put themselves in great jeopardy if they didn't feel confident about the testing protocols and making sure that, everybody's staying safe and everybody's staying healthy.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the same goes for, I'm sure, all the other brands as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It just, like I said, it makes you wonder, you can only hope for the best for all them guys.
Yeah.
Hey, as we're keeping things rolling here, Scotty, I got a couple questions for you. I want to take it off the subject just for a minute out there for my listeners.
Absolutely.
I think this will be pretty interesting for them. We're going to dive into a little bit of your life, buddy.
All right.
No, just kidding. Here you go. I got a question for you. If there's a movie about your life, who's playing you and why?
Oh, man. That's a really good one. I think Shia LaBeouf would be a pretty good one. 'Cause he's funny. Like he's obviously, like, early in his career, he was pretty funny. And then like he could be serious at times. I think Shia LaBeouf would be a pretty good one. Sheesh. Maybe I think Shia LaBeouf's like maybe the first one that comes to mind. Like obviously I'm not going to say like Chris Evans or Chris Helmsworth because I'm not.
This is your movie.
Yeah,
bro.
I know,
on,
but
like,
I wanted to be
I mean, we're not picking the Hunchback of Notre Dame here. I mean, you know, we're talking your movie.
Yeah. I think Shia LaBeouf would do a pretty good job.
All right, I agree. I kind of see a little slight resemblance. I know my wife would love that. It's one of her favorite actors.
Yeah,
pretty good. Hey, bouncing a little bit around here. I know a little bit about it, but I want you to tell my fans and my listeners a little bit about it. You did a little trip just not too long ago, before it obviously got a little bit crazy. You made a trip out there to the Combine at OVW. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it was awesome. And Yade and I, we were fortunate enough to go out there. Al Snow and Chad Miller, who are kind of the two heads of OVW, invited us out to help evaluate the talent. And there was probably close to 30 participants. And the first part there in Louisville was at Norton Sport Performance, where Chad has a lot of ties and he's really involved with the Norton Medical Group, and they've got this huge, awesome facility where they did a lot of performance testing with squat, bench, pull-ups, body comp, some agility drills, some memory and agility drills, vert jump. And so I kind of helped out with that. And, I was kind of wearing two different hats. There was one participant that ended up sustaining a little bit of an injury. They were able to get back into it. So I was able to kind of help them out and help identify what's going on. And then obviously help, count reps and sets and stuff like that. And it was really cool. We had 8 folks from Rocky Mountain Pro come out and participate. Let me see. Lilith, Bruce, Atiba, Damon, Balaam, Chongo, Kelly Dowdy, who is one of our refs and commentators. Like, huge shout out to Kelly. Like, obviously he's not going out there to earn a wrestling spot, but he did every test and physical test to the best of his ability. So shout out to him. Who else am I missing? Jumbo was out there. Yeah. Okay. So,
man, that's a good group, from Rocky Mountain. Definitely.
I was
important and strong.
Yeah. Really proud of them and, their abilities, and got really good feedback from Al and Chad. And then we went over to the Davis Arena where Sin Bodie and a couple of the other coaches put them through a in-ring kind of test or in-ring challenge. And it was a long challenge where they had to use a lot of different in-ring abilities and stuff. And based off of that, a couple of our guys were able to perform in that night's show. And Kelly even got a ref in the show. Nice. And then a couple of them stuck around for a little bit longer and performed in a taping later on that week. So
awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And, I want to thank Al and Chad for having me out there to help out and do whatever I could to make this thing be successusable.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm jealous. I hope maybe sometime in the future I'll be kind of like Kelly and get to tag along. And definitely not a wrestling talent, but I'd love to do all that stuff just to see where I stood up with the boys,
Yeah, it was
before I get too old. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I don't think they've announced. So this combine was for basically a full ride scholarship.
Okay.
Over at OVW. So basically, the way that they're set up is like a trade school, and they're able to give out scholarships and help out with tuition and stuff. And if you get the call back, you have the opportunity to live there in Louisville. You get set up with like a part-time job. Your training's free, your strength and conditioning's free, and stuff like that. And so, it's almost like you get a full ride scholarship like a Division I athlete. So it's a
you
huge...
can't beat the experience and all the knowledge you're going to get from Al Snow and all them people over there either. There's no way. That's just the best thing about it. That's really cool, man. I hope one of our guys out here gets the chance to do that. That'd be really swell.
Absolutely.
If not, I'm sure in the future it'll happen.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of our guys that definitely pique some interest. I don't want to spoil it, but
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, Scotty, we're winding things down here. I've got one more question for you, buddy.
What do you got?
It's not really a hard one. It's a good one. Obviously, breakfast related here on the Eeez N Beez podcast.
Ooh.
If there was a wrestler you could eat breakfast with, dead or alive, my man, who would it be?
You know what? I don't think it would be a wrestler right now. It would be obviously someone in the wrestling industry, and that'd be good old JR, Jim Ross.
Man, you couldn't. Yes.
Yeah,
that's a good selection.
Yeah, and I just got done listening to his newest book, Under the Black Hat, and just kind of talking, obviously about cool stories from his past and stuff like that, but how he's been able to stay in professional wrestling for 30 plus years and work with some of the biggest names, and then, wearing different, no pun intended, wearing different hats within the WWE and now AEW. Like I would love to have kind of a candid conversation with that guy and, be able to sit down and pick his brain.
100% agree with you. I listen to him weekly. I love him to death. I hope I get his book for Christmas.
Yeah, it's good, man. You will not be disappointed.
I would definitely go for a breakfast with JR and Tony. I mean, it would turn into a dinner because I probably wouldn't want to leave. I would have to ask so much, and I enjoy it. So I agree. That's probably one of the better ones I've had.
Yeah. It'd be cool, man. And it's I follow him on social medias and listen to his podcast and stuff too. And seems like a genuine good guy.
Definitely. Yeah. One of my, like I said, the best out there, my favorite. I follow him on everything as well. Well, how about this? What are you guys having? How about that?
Well, I think, with him being a good old Oklahoma boy, we're probably going to have to go down like more of a country style breakfast with like maybe a chicken fried steak, probably some biscuits and gravy, probably some potatoes, and just keep the coffee coming.
Oh man, you're making my mouth water.
Yeah, I know.
Well, hopefully maybe one day before it's too late, we can make that happen.
Absolutely.
Well, Scotty, before I get you out of here, is there anything else you want to tell my listeners about Fast Performance or anything you got going on from now or for maybe 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. If the listeners out there need some help or need some guidance, be it injury management, or strength and conditioning, performance type stuff, obviously, our door is open to everyone, across the population spectrum. Like you don't have to be the top recruit coming out of high school. You don't have to be the Division I football player. We're more than willing and love to work with the general population. So if you're in the Denver area or, you can make it work, swing on by to Fast Performance. You can check us out more at fastcolorado.com. You can also see us on Instagram and Facebook at Fast Performance CO. You can also check me out and shoot me a DM on Instagram. I think that's the one that I'm probably more I check the most is Scotty_sportsmed. And I do like online sessions and stuff like that. So, we're flexible over here and we want to help everybody out.
Man, that's awesome, Scotty. Once again, it's been awesome having you back. You've given us plethora full of knowledge for this holiday season to make sure that we come out in 2021 looking a lot better, feeling a lot better, and obviously staying safe. Man, I can't wait to get to see you, dude.
I know. We got to make this happen.
Get over this hump.
Yeah,
we got to
make this happen. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully once some of these capacity restrictions kind of lessen up, we'd love to have you come hang out for like a taping or a show, or if you want to get a workout in, whatever, dude.
Definitely.
Just come on down.
We need to work something out going forward. Like I said, I got some humps I got to get through here.
Yep.
And then hopefully my new year will be just as good as everybody else's. But once again, Scotty, man, it's been an honor, a pleasure, and I can't wait to have you back again in the future. Well, next year, obviously.
Yeah.
But until then, buddy, stay safe, and don't forget to eat your breakfast, all right?
Thanks for having me on.
You bet, bud. That's right. Man, that was such a great interview with Scotty Long. It was so great to have him back. Huge meat segment. I hope you guys got everything you needed to get from him. He had such great information to pass along. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll have all that stuff. Follow us, eezenbeez.org. Make sure that all of his stuff is there posted for you guys to follow along. But after that, we're moving right in, guys, to the scrambled egg segment. That's right, scrambled eggs. I got a lot of good stuff for you today. All kinds of crazy things to talk about. Some predictions. Also, let's see what you guys think. But starting off, jumping right into it, tomorrow night, OVW Christmas Chaos 2020. Listen, folks, if you don't got nothing to do, go follow them. They're on Twitter and Facebook. It's 7:30 start time, but there's going to be some big names there. Ace Austin, Brian Pillman Jr., also a bunch of great up-and-coming talent. Don't miss it. An Al Snow production. OVW Wrestling, Christmas Chaos 2020. Don't miss it. If you have nothing to do, like I said, check it out. I've actually got that, and then what I'm about to speak about next here, Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling, another charged taping going down on Twitch tomorrow night as well. So I've got a big decision to make because it starts at 8 p.m. and the OVW is at 7:30. It's going to be a coin flip for me here. But those are two big events going down tomorrow night. If you got nothing to do on a Saturday night, great things to watch. Twitch, if you're already a Twitch member, it's free. If not, follow them at Rocky Mountain Pro. All kinds of cool stuff. You'll get caught up on the weekly rewind as well as the live tapings on the weekends when they go down. My boy Dustin Urich, the champion right now. A bunch of other great talent that's been on my show. Lilith Grimm, Jumbo Zamori, Hazard, bunch of cool people. The big CEO, Mercury Aiden. But obviously, Scotty Long here, he's the head trainer there, and he has been on twice now, but this time just giving us some holiday fitness news. That was great. Moving forward here in the Scrambled Egg segment, Sunday night is War Games for NXT TakeOver. We talked a little bit about it earlier in the Sunny Side Up, but let's get into what the card's going to be. On the card, they've got Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes. As I spoke, it's a strap match. My prediction is they're going to put over Cameron Grimes a little bit. I think that's going to be my prediction on that one. Should be a decent match. We just saw a strap match not too long ago. Well, a dog collar match. I know not the same thing, but same realm, if you know what I mean. Let me know what you guys are predicting on that fight. They also got the triple threat match as we spoke. Leon Ruff, the current North American champion, the nobody, the underdog. Johnny Gargano, as in Jim Cornette would say, Mr. No Expression. And Damian Priest. I think Damian Priest is going to get the title back. That's my prediction. I think there's going to be some trickery going on, maybe some interference. We'll wait and see. But unfortunately, I think Leon Ruff, his days are over. After that, they're going to be into the War Games experience. It's going to be the Undisputed Era versus what I call the Goons, but it's Pat McAfee's team of guys, Pete Dunne, Birch, and Lurkin. And let's be honest, if Undisputed Era don't win this, I'd be a little shocked. Should be a good match, though. I love War Games going back to the late 80s. Obviously, WCW did it the best, but here recently we know NXT's been taking some of their old school and putting their spin on it, and it's been pretty good. Halloween Havoc, I must say, was pretty decent, so let's see what happens here at War Games. And then I would believe this would be the main event of the evening, Team Shotzi against Team Candice. We've been seeing this feud for weeks now. Shotzi's got Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, and to be determined on her team, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. Should be some solid fights. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys think is going to win. Like I said, I'm going to go with the Undisputed Era, Damian Priest, Cameron Grimes, and Team Shotzi. Let me know what you think. That's the Scrambled Egg segment coming up here in just a few moments. I'm going to have Lauren back. We're going to have everybody's favorite segment, The Toast. We got a lot to talk about coming up in the month of December. It's a month of giving. Obviously, last month was thanks and giving. This month, I'm giving. That's right. One gift all the way till Christmas. So be on the lookout. YouTube, I'll be giving away free stuff off of YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Follow us at eezeandbeez.org or wherever you get your podcasts at. But stay tuned. Coming up next, it's going to be The Toast with Lauren. All right, everybody's favorite segment. It's The Toast. Get out your jams, get out your jellies, spread it. Hey, I've got a special guest with me, like I said earlier. It's Lauren. Welcome back, Lauren.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you? How is
Great.
everybody out there? My favorite listeners.
Like I was saying, Lauren, it feels like it's been like 2 months since we did the last podcast.
I know. It really has.
1 week off feels like forever.
It does. I know.
So much was going on.
Yeah.
As I spoke earlier, Lauren, what do
been a lot
you
going
think about the Sting?
I was very excited to see your reaction and how excited and how much of a little kid you turned back into last night when he came on.
I'm telling you. Not last night, but a couple nights ago. And it gives me chills just to talk about it. I wrote down some pros and cons, like, you know, the pros being 2 shows when maybe Impact merges. I know you're not an Impact fan, but
I'm not.
Let's look at the pros and cons. You know, 2 shows merging could put the lower card on Tuesday night, the bigger card on Wednesday night. Also, multiple angles. We already know we got an angle going right away with Kenny Omega running with Don Callis back. We'll find out Tuesday night what's going to happen there. Mm-hmm. Depth to each division. Let's say this. Both women's divisions on AEW and Impact, they could use some help.
Yeah.
So you put those together. Hey, who knows? That's a great thing right now. Impact got the tag team tournament going on. We know AEW did that. What? At the beginning of the year, something like that. And it helped out. So that's some more pros. More creative minds in the back. You know, combining more thoughts to add for better storylines.
I'm not too hot on Impact's creative mind, though.
Well,
so
you never know.
But
there could be different angles. Let's look at the pros. I'm saying,
yeah, they just need
better
some help.
pay-per-views. I think you could lead up to way better pay-per-views with, you know, an invasion angle. My friend Brian, as you guys know from way back when we watched the watch along in October, we discussed just recently, you know, the invasion angle. It could be done just kind of like NWO did.
Oh, yeah.
This sense, though, we're talking 2 different leagues, or excuse me, 2 different brands already established going at it versus a brand inside of a brand, if that makes sense.
Kind of like was it Monday Night Wars used to be?
In a way, that it's like when NWO took over WCW.
Yeah.
So we could maybe see that. That's a pro. Now here's the cons. No better exposure, because let's face it, Tuesday night Impact's okay, but it's not getting a lot of views.
No.
Wrestlers at more risk, because you're mixing talent that's never wrestled together, talent that don't know each other. You know what I'm saying. I'm not saying definitely somebody's going to get hurt, but I'm just saying your risk is going to be a little bit more.
Yeah, like that Britt Baker fight the other night with, what was her name?
Leela Hirsch.
Layla Hirsch or something like that. Yeah.
Legit,
yeah.
Legit Layla Hirsch.
Yeah.
That's it.
I thought that was a shot at Sasha Banks.
No, that's my next con thing.
That's
here.
the same
you
thing.
Know, what I got written down here is exactly that. Some of the talent's going to make some of the other talent look bad.
Yeah,
there's just no way around it.
Britt was just a little too good for.
Another con,
So
bad booking.
legit.
Bad booking, which would lead to exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
And I don't know. That's just a few cons, a few pros. My opinion. I should have mixed that in with the scrambled eggs, but we got it going here on the toast here with Lauren. Lauren, I got a couple other things I want to talk about before I turn it over to you. Hey, shout out to the merch is open. If you get it now, you can get it before Christmas. I promise.
That's right. Yep. Buy it now, because if you wait
cheap.
too much longer, you're not going to have that gift.
Right.
It's going to be a
it's
New
good
Year's
quality,
Day present.
Good quality. We can speak for it.
Yeah.
It's very
so
comfortable.
I
You
loved
can
my
pick out
soft
your own
shirts.
color.
Yeah.
You know.
Plenty of colors, plenty of styles.
And it's not even shirts.
Women's
It's
styles.
everything from a phone case to a coffee mug to a tumbler.
A pillow. They have
You name
freaking
it.
pillows
Yeah.
on there.
And good prices right now. Also, another shout out to Tracy Denton. Thank you for listening out there. Also, another shout out to JR. We talked about a little bit Scotty Long earlier. He loves JR. I love JR. We're going to tag him in all this stuff. If you guys haven't looked at any of his stuff online, check it out. Follow him on all his podcasts.
JR's Barbecue.
JR's Barbecue. He has some great packages for the Christmas time. Check that out.
He really does.
Another shout out, like I said, Scotty Long. Had a great time with him. Shout out to OVW. Check them out tomorrow night. Shout out to Rocky Mountain Pro. Another show going on Twitch tomorrow night. Check them out if you got nothing going on.
Yeah, we'll be watching.
And then next week's guest, we got something new for you guys. I've got a guy that's heading off to Seth Rollins boot camp in Idaho. He's going to be there for 12 weeks. We're going to catch him before he goes. We're going to catch him halfway and hopefully catch him when it's over. Should be very interesting. We'll find out all about him next week and what he thinks the progress and how it's going to go. It should be awesome. What do you think, Lauren?
Yeah, that will be really fun to follow along on his journey. Kind of give everybody an inside scoop of how things play out when you go to something like this. So
Definitely.
excited to hear what he's got to say and see what he does.
Absolutely. And the last thing I got, Lauren, is there is a shirt giveaway tomorrow. That's right. Like I said, every week till Christmas, I'm giving them something away. Tomorrow will be a shirt. So pay attention on YouTube and Facebook.
That's
Free
right.
shirt. You just listen to the rules, and I promise I'll send it to you. Proof's on our page, right, Lauren? We've already sent out several things to winners.
Yeah.
Got
They
a couple
it fairly
pictures we're still
quickly,
waiting
too.
on. Yeah, so... All right, Lauren, with that, I'll turn it over to you, and we'll wrap this thing up.
All right, let's wrap it up like a present here. So, all I have really to go over, since we've gone over everything else, is numbers. People, I'm giving you a shout out for our top cities this week. We haven't done it in a couple weeks, so it has changed a little bit. Number 1 is Denver, Colorado. Number 2 is Carmel, Indiana. 3, Fort Collins. 4, Cliché, France.
Cliché, France.
I love you, whoever
Thank you
you
so
guys
much.
are out there.
They're creeping on us, guys. They're up there.
Thank you. Top 4, there you are.
Top 5, that's right, yeah.
And rounding out the top 5, Anderson, Indiana. 6 is Bloomington, Indiana. 7, Windsor, Colorado. 8, Lancaster, Texas.
Tracy.
9 is Dublin, Ireland. Another international.
Hell yeah.
And rounding out the top 10 for the week of November 30th through December 4th is Moscow, Russia.
Woo!
If you all can believe it, I can.
Man, it's good to be back. I've had
Yes,
so
it
much
is.
fun. Like we said, check the merch out. If you can't find
Check
it,
out the
follow
merch
us on
store.
the page. There's all kinds of post up. Easy access.
Yep.
Good prices. Good quality.
Yes.
Small business. Right, Lauren?
That's right.
Tough
Support.
times. We need it.
You bet we do.
This is going to be a great month, Lauren. We got so many great things coming up. I
Yeah.
can't wait. But don't
wait
forget, Tomorrow, be on the lookout. Free shirt giveaway.
Uh-oh.
That's right. Well, once again, it's great to be back. Thank you, all you fans.
Thank you.
Share, subscribe. Follow us on all the podcast area. And like we always say, Lauren.
Yep.
Eat your breakfast.